Now the third type of tissue is a muscle tissue or muscular tissue. One is a epithelial tissue, another one connective tissue, and third one is a muscular tissue. And muscles, muscle power. Okay, muscles play an active role in the movements of the body. Okay, what is the function of muscle? To help in the body movement. And there are three types of muscles: skeletal muscle, smooth muscle, and cardiac muscle. Three types of muscles: smooth, skeletal, and cardiac muscle. The first one is skeletal muscle, otherwise known as striated or striped. striped, striated, striped, or skeletal muscle. And the skeletal muscle tissue is closely attached to the skeletal bones. That is why the name skeletal muscle. The muscles which are attached to the skeleton are known as skeletal muscles, and they are attached to bones by tendons. Tendon and ligament we have studied. Connective tissues which connect bones and muscles. Okay, and they are voluntary in nature and involved in locomotory movements and body posture, etc. Okay, voluntary means with our will. If we intend to move our body parts, then only this works. Skeletal muscles are under the control of our will or brain. Okay, then it means voluntary in nature and involved in locomotory activities. Then they have striated appearance, stripes. Okay, then the plasma membrane. We know that every cell has a membrane covered, which is known as a plasma membrane, and the plasma membrane of the muscle is known as a sarcolemma. Plasma lemma. Another name of plasma membrane is plasma lemma. And so the plasma membrane of muscle fiber or muscle cell is known as a sarcolemma. Remember, the word sarco is connected to the muscle. Then cytoplasm of the muscle fiber. Muscle fiber is a muscle cell. Is known as a sarcoplasm. Cytoplasm, sarcoplasm. And mitochondria of muscle cells are known as sarcosomes. Mitochondria, sarcosome. And endoplasmic reticulum is known as sarcoplasmic reticulum. Clear, no? Sarco is related to the muscle. So sarcolemma, sarcoplasm, sarcosome, and sarcoplasmic reticulum. Okay, now how are these arranged? So the large number of filaments arranged parallelly in the sarcoplasm of muscle fibers, and these are known as myofibrils. These are the structural units of muscles are known as myofibril, thin fibers. Okay, so these are arranged in how parallelly in the sarcoplasm of muscle fibers. And the skeletal muscles is made up of a number of muscle bundles called fascicles. We can see many bundles made up of a number of muscle bundles. Okay, parallelly arranged myofibrils. These are known as fascicles, and these fascicles are held together by a common connective tissue layer called fascia. Just remember a broom, okay, having broomsticks, and these are connected by or joined by or held by twine, and that is known as a fascia. Okay, myofibril is the structural unit. Then a bundle of this are known as fascicles, and these fascicles are held together by a structure connective tissue called fascia. Okay, and the second type of muscle is a smooth muscle. Smooth muscle, the structure is the muscle fibers taper at both ends and do not show striations, no lines. Striations means dark and light lines, no striations here, so non-striated muscle. Smooth muscle, non-striated muscle or non-striped, unstriped, unstriped, unstriped muscle. And the cell junctions hold them together and they are bundled together in a connective tissue sheath. Okay. Then the wall of internal organs such as blood vessels, stomach and intestine contains this type of muscle tissue. Okay, where are these found? These are found in the visceral organs. That means internal organs like blood vessels, stomach and intestine. Smooth muscle. Okay, these are found in where in the visceral organs or internal organs. And another feature is that these are involuntary. That means they are not under the control of our brain or under the control of our will. And they function on their own. No need to control them. Okay, so see let us say about that later. And the third type of muscle is a cardiac muscle. The muscle present only in the heart is known as a cardiac muscle. Muscle of heart is a cardiac muscle. And cell junctions fuse the plasma membranes of cardiac cells and to make them stick together. So the cell junctions may fuse the cell plasma membranes of cardiac muscles and make them stick together. That means the cell junctions connect the plasma membranes of cardiac muscles together. Okay. Now communication junctions, that means intercalated discs at some fusion points allow the cells to contact as a unit. That is, when one cell receives a signal to contract, its neighbors are also stimulated to contract. That means that there are connective junctions which are known as intercalated discs. Okay, the junctions, that means communicative junctions. That means we know that heart gets beaten continuously, so the message should pass through. So the cardiac cells have junctions called communicative junctions or communication junctions, otherwise known as intercalated discs, through which the stimuli or the messages pass through. Okay, now see the figures here. The first one is the skeletal muscle. See, striation, dark and light bands or striations are seen here. Striations, the nucleus in between. And the second one is a smooth muscle or a non-striated muscle. See, the both ends are tapering. That is pointed at both ends. Upper and lower ends are tapering. That is pointed. Okay. And the third one is cardiac muscle. This is also striated, but weakly striated, not as strong as a skeletal muscle or striated muscle. Striation is there, but weaker striations. Okay. Now let us look at the differences between these. See, skeletal muscle attached to skeletal bones and smooth muscle present in the wall of internal organs such as blood vessels, stomach and intestine, and cardiac muscle present only in the heart. Okay. Then next thing about skeletal muscle is the fibers are bundled together in a parallel fashion, arranged parallelly. Then fibers taper at both ends, which is known as a fusiform. Okay, this type of structure is known as a fusiform. And in the cardiac muscle, cell junctions fuse the plasma membranes and make them stick together. Cell junctions fuse the plasma membranes and make them stick together. And what about the activity? Skeletal muscle voluntary, then smooth muscle involuntary, and cardiac muscle also involuntary. Then about striation. In skeletal muscle, striations dark and light bands are present, and in the smooth muscle, striations absent, and in the cardiac muscle, striations are present but fainter, means weak, fainter. Okay, so this much about the skeletal muscle. And the next muscle is next tissue is neural tissue. Fourth tissue is neural tissue or nervous tissue. So this tissue exerts the greatest control over the body's responsiveness to changing conditions. This is a tissue which responds to the changing conditions of the environment. Okay, so neurons, the unit of neural system, are excitable cells. The unit, the structural and functional unit of neural tissue is a neuron. The cells of neural tissue are known as neurons, and these are the structural units, and these are excitable. Okay, for example, if you touch but heat, what happens? You withdraw your hand or finger. That is a response. Okay, whenever what happens when you place your finger or hand in a very cold or very hot object, what happens? You withdraw. That means the neurons get excited, excitable, and response. Okay, the cell body contains cytoplasm with the typical cell organelles, and the neuroglia cells, which constitute the rest of the neural system, protect and support neurons. So two parts are there in the neural tissue. One is neuron, another one is neuroglia cells. Two parts. Neurons are the structural units, structural and functional units, and the second part is neuroglia cells. And what is the function of neuroglia cell? To protect and support neurons. Clear now? And neurons, what is the function of neuron? Neurons make what? Nerves, N-E-R-V, nerve, and messages or impulses pass through this. Messages that you have touched this object, or you are hearing this, or you are seeing this vision. Okay, you are seeing this object. Everything is passed through neurons or nerves and reaches the brain. And the brain gives signal that this has happened like this, and this is the object you have seen, and this is the voice we have heard, like that. Okay, this chapter is also, or this part is also there in another chapter. So we are going to learn about this in another chapter. See the cell structure, neural tissue, neurons, neuron with the neuroglia. Okay. You are familiar with the structure of neuron. There's what axon, dendron, everything. Dendrites, see, axon, cell body from which a long structure arises, which is known as axon, and small structures are known as dendrons or dendrites, etc. Okay. So this much about the tissue structural organization.